While I use Notion extensively, my thinking process is actually resident outside in the form of mind maps, which I've been a huge fan of for several years now. Mind maps are possibly one of the fundamental pillars that has helped me significantly on my journey to 10x productivity. My mind maps do eventually take me back to Notion, which I will touch upon later in this video. So stick around and I will reveal some amazing secrets to help you on your journey. Many years back, I learned that we connect better in our minds by using visualization. This involves pictures, association, color, position, etc. I learned that our common language is not English, not Spanish, not Chinese, but these elements of visualization, and the language merely is an alias for visualization. So we think in pictures, remember better using pictures, which is evident in an old proverb we remember really well. A picture is worth 1,000 words. By using a simple map-like structure, I've learned to visualize my studies, establish linkages, solve a problem, write my first book, meetings, design my products, or storyboard a pitch document to a client. I figured that this form of thinking is far more powerful than that of linear thinking, and in fact forces you to be specific with your thoughts. These maps are also very specific to the creator or the teams that participated, since mere visualization triggers memories of past conversations quickly as well as for easier association. I picked up a ton of these concepts from authors like Harry Lorraine, who specializes in memory, or Tony Buzan, who specializes in mind maps. But unintentionally, I also discovered that people like David Allen have based their concept of getting things done through the same visualization techniques. As I got introduced to purists in mind mapping, I discovered that some were very rigid and adopted the principles verbatim with deviations seen as a taboo. For me, if the map can help me visualize the end result with the association and recollection, I would have achieved my objective. So what's in it for me? My basic instincts always question the benefits of using this method. So let me tell you how I gained. I discovered mind maps when I studied to gain 2 professional degrees, my management accounting and my chartered accounting degrees. I always loved subjects like math, physics, accounting, statistics, but found law and taxation, for example, pretty dry. Using mind maps, I could easily visualize what was going on and their connection when I looked at case studies. As I entered into the corporate world, I saw the opportunity to use this technique to build concept maps, process maps, or mind maps. It helped me solve my department's or my customers' challenges, and later in my consulting career, solve organizational challenges that were far more complex. In addition, it's now helping me with my business, my website, my YouTube videos, and in building out my Notion systems to solve real-life problems. To answer doubters, when I started, I thought that since I couldn't draw very well, how do I go about this? What got revealed was unbelievable. You don't need to be an artist, an architect, an author, or a scientist to mind map. Pictures, icons, stick figures, doodles, and words are good enough. It's through this process I discovered that simple words and arrows get you started off. And if you adopt some basic techniques from guys like Mike Rhodes of the Sketch Notes book series fame, you could go much further. More importantly, they need to be good enough for me and my immediate team, since I am the producer and the consumer of this map, not for somebody else. I realized that the most important thing I needed at the beginning was the creative space. This will help me to visualize without barriers of a software to slow me down. So MindMap started for me with pen and paper, which is the simplest form. I used whiteboards at the office that allowed me to draw more. The big challenges I had with pen and paper were when I needed to change the flow or I needed to add stuff on an already cluttered paper. It was cumbersome. There are workarounds like erasable pens, fine liners, etc. But they are not perfect. Whiteboards needed to be erased to provide me with more surface area, to expand or to get a new thought. So my final state needed to be a software. My latest hunt for a better MindMap software led me to apps like MindNote, Miro and iThoughts to use MindMaps with the laptop, the tablet, the mobile. I also explored Notability and GoodNotes, but I find it more suited to linear handwriting notes since the canvas and screen limitations are there in terms of size. I've hopped a few over time and narrowed it down to iThought. I find this extremely flexible with annotations, notes, icons, pictures, etc. that can be added and provide numerous import and export formats. They have a one-time payment. They integrate into my Notion workflow and they're available for Windows, Mac, iPad, iPhone, etc. If you want to have a reminder system built in, you can mention the deadlines as well for calendaring into your regular calendar. Or add a task that allows you to mention the effort, the resources, the time, giving you much more advanced project management functions. Over this period of work from home, I discovered a new way to mind map without using pen and paper or electronically, while retaining the final step on iThoughts. I bought a few magnetic boards of A2 size, which double up as a magnetic or a pin board. I use magnetic post-its or magnetic dry erase sheets that I created using magnetic sheets along with the 3M dry erase surfaces. Additionally, I have a number of post-its that I use along with magnetic arrows to help me define the workflow. Now I can write out my thoughts, erase them, move them around, completely change the workflow, etc. Once I have arrived at a happy state, I transfer it to iThought and can make any subsequent modifications there. So I take a photograph and move it to the computer. I tinker around with my thoughts on iThoughts and modify it with comments for the final mind map. As I complete my mind map on iThoughts, I can export it into a PDF, either completely or partially collapsed. So this allows me to send out only a select portion of the mind map to my stakeholders if I needed to. I take the path for the mind map, paste it into Notion and use Alfred to open it. I need it. On the Mac, if you're not used to it, it can be a little tricky. Let me walk you through the process. Go to the file finder in the folder where you will find your file is present. Press Ctrl first and keep it pressed and select the file to highlight it. And not letting go of the control, press Option and you will suddenly see an option called Copy File Name as the path name. Click on that to copy the path name to your clipboard. I have started creating a library of all my mind maps and paste the links into the library record. It may seem a little complicated at first, but after the first few, it will become second nature to you. I use critical thinking to mind map. Needless to say, it involves time. That's actually plenty with this experience of work from home. My critical thinking evolves around 7 steps. I call this BRIDFAC. In step 1, B stands for brainstorming. It helps me gather and organize information. Step 2, R stands for relations. Knowingly or unknowingly, each group of information is connected within and across. Step 3, I stands for interpretation. If the information doesn't make sense to you, it won't make any sense to the others and it won't impact any outcome. T stands for drawing conclusions. F stands for flow. Your map needs to tell a story and flow in a specific direction with logic and priority built in. Step 6. A stands for asking questions. Questions help you clarify the challenge and fix mistakes. Step 7. And finally, C is to communicate. If you're making mind maps with a team, it's important to take all principal stakeholders through it. If you're making to obtain clarity, then you should measure the results against the mind map and see how you can enhance it further. Once I think I have the concept buttoned down, I let the board stay on my wall for the next 27 hours, which is approximately 2 nights. I go back to it after each night's rest to see if I've missed a point, or during the day if I get another aha moment to make any changes. Mind maps have been my best kept secret. If you haven't used it in a while or are inspired by the video, pick it up again. Let me know if you find this video useful and if you want me to make more of such videos. If you're not yet part of this community, do consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay notified of new videos. If you liked the video, consider sharing it with your friends. Stay safe, stay healthy, peace.